The use of Google Chromebooks in schools, facilitated by myself, Brett Anyosh from Catsill Learning Partnerships.
Last week, just after half term, I picked up 20 Chromebooks as our first trial. So we've split those into groups of 5 scattered around the school into 3 departments, and learning support. So learning support have distributed 5 Chromebooks, which are basically out from the start of day to the end of day because the kids love them so much. And I guess in probably the next 2 years, we'll probably be looking at a one-to-one idea where the students will be getting them rather than the school. So it will be a purchase by the students, I guess, rather than our own investment. Yeah, we'll probably start in September offering the option for students to buy them without actually having a lease scheme or anything like that, so that they can actually just use the buying power of the school to get a nice, cheap, easy Chromebook.
So where we are is we're a very small village primary school. We're only half form entry, so we've only got 100 children in the school, but we are going to double to 200 next academic year. And we've got lots of, well, not much legacy kit, so it's just very old Windows laptops that are grinding to a halt very quickly through the network, and we are contemplating a shift to cloud-based learning. We want to really make the decision about whether to go down some sort of detachable tablet or combined possibly with Chromebooks, and forgetting having a network altogether, or do we need something that still uses the network, bearing in mind we've got staff who are not confident with moving forward in technology and aren't confident with leaving behind the ability to save offline and, you know, the old ways of working really, because we have teachers who just aren't confident with technology. So I'm really interested to hear the benefits of going into cloud-based learning really. I mean, I've read a lot about it and I've heard different people speak about it, but actually the reality of it day to day for staff, and also managing things like pushing the apps across devices, so whether that is a Chromebook or whether it's a tablet, how does that work? Because when we've only got a very small staff, that's going to be a teacher that's doing that. We don't have an on-site technician, so it's the practicalities of using it as well. So I'd love to hear anybody's ideas, suggestions, thoughts, positives, negatives, and all of that really.
Hi, so I'm a teacher in quite a big primary school in Birmingham. We've had one-to-one iPads for a few years now, and we're just thinking about moving to Chromebooks. So we've got them for one class as a trial. The SLT are really into moving into cloud-based learning because our server is getting very expensive. And I'm just really interested to hear what people are doing with Chromebooks in classrooms and how they could be used.
Yeah, we're at the National STEM Centre. Well, it's just been renamed National STEM Learning Centre. National Science Learning Centre, as what was, were hosted by the University of York. We see a combination of primary teachers, secondary teachers, technicians here, and I'm just really a fly on the wall. I'm curious to see how Chromebooks are being received in the school context.
Some things that are being raised for me is, you know, it's different needs, I'm sure, for primary school versus secondary. And as I say, we go up to year 8, so we're a little bit of a mix. I am looking at iPads, funnily enough, for Key Stage 1, because I'm not sure that the Chromebooks really do cover what I need them to cover. Bearing in mind I'm fairly new to this, I don't think they cover what I need them to cover for the Key Stage 1.
At this point, I asked the question whether any schools, in particular those primary schools, were using cloud-based applications such as J2E and Purple Mash.
I'm not using Purple Mash. As a matter of fact, what I really have been chasing is a good scheme of work that is pretty much Google Apps. you know, just I've looked at so I have gone round and round in circles, is the truth, for a year now. And so I really like, on the CAS website, they've got a fantastic scheme of work. But if you are running your everything, which it is what it is currently, off a Chromebook, it's a huge amount of work then to go and, you know, find an app that works, that is comparable to what's in that scheme of work. Do you know the scheme of work I'm talking about? I hope people do. It's very good, it's very comprehensive, but it doesn't work for me. So I have chased people at the vet show, and I've chased down a consultant in Wales who says that he's sort of writing it, and you know, he'll let me know how far he gets, but if we could collaborate on it, that would be great. But he's a consultant. He's also of the opinion that Purple Mash is kind of mostly the way to go. Key Stage 1, Chromebooks are not the right answer. It doesn't do a lot of the creative stuff. So so that's kind of where I am. I'm absolutely thrilled with the Chromebooks, and if I have to choose between Chromebooks and iPads, then Chromebooks is the way it's going to go. So it's just interesting to hear some people, I think it was Simon was saying that he had iPads and now they're moving to Chromebooks. I don't think he was the only one, but I mean, we're new to it. I'm learning as I go. So yes, that's all we use. I am in the middle of 2 different projects. One is to get everybody, you know, student-wise on the Chromebooks, but also to get all staff, and that it does prove to be very difficult. We are running 2 systems. We're running a Gmail mail system, but we're also using Outlook. And I've been on a conference where they said, basically, if you want to make the move for the staff, it has to be get rid of everything else. You've got to go Gmail. It's got to be the first go-to in the morning. I am proposing that we give a Chromebook to every member of staff, so that they love it, and that's all they want to do when they go home, so that the next document that they create is actually in Google Docs. It's going to require a lot of hand-holding, and a lot, you know, people who have used certain documents or spreadsheets for years, and when you pull it across and try and upload it to Google Sheets or something, it loses its formatting, and, you know, then they're all of a sudden really unhappy with it, and they go right back to any of their office stuff.
So at the start of the year, we were looking at, I started looking at one-to-one devices and where we were going to go. So I've been out to a few secondary schools in the area that started off with one or whatever. And again, a lot of, like America's gone crazy for iPads to begin with, and now they've decided to throw the iPads in the bin and going Chromebook crazy. And that's the same conclusion I came to. So I went out to schools that had got iPads, and I was like, how much do you use your iPads? And none at all. And I went to a school that just brought out one-to-one for the whole school in one foul swoop, 1,200 Chromebooks in a sitting, which was massive, and the kids are all over it, and they absolutely love them. So, as I said earlier, we've just bought 20 to trial, and I specifically went for touchscreen Chromebooks. So we've got 20 of these little Asus ones. We paid, I think they're 160 quid a piece, so they're kind of cheap, about half the price of an iPad, and it folds all the way back into a tablet, and it's touchscreen. And the reason why we chose that one over all of the others, and there is quite a selection, is Android apps are slowly but surely coming across to Chrome OS at the moment. So we've got, so if you go into the Chrome Web Store and have a look in there, you can see an awful lot of, so there's an awful lot of apps that say written for Android but will work on your device, and certainly having a touchscreen going forward, it kind of gives you the best of both worlds. The only thing that we really miss is obviously the you haven't got a camera on the back of it, which is probably the only thing that it's currently missing for us. So it works as a tablet, but it's also great for writing with, which is we had, I think we've got four class sets of iPads scattered around the school, and I know they don't get used half as much as the iPads have in the last week that they've just come out, and people are fighting over booking them from different departments.
Our thought process at the moment is that we wanted both cameras because we wanted to be able to do all of the creative talk for writing type of activities, so actually the children filming each other to generate the writing. So we're not using it for the computing curriculum at all. This is teaching and learning to raise standards, hopefully, in mainly literacy and possibly maths as well, but our real focus is on literacy and other curriculum areas. And actually, it's now making me think that a combination of the two, a combination of Android tablets and Chromebooks, with our limited budget, and then move forward, is probably the solution for us. My big concern is how you push the apps out and the time element. So some sort of device management system. So you mentioned Real Smart already. I don't know, something like that. I'd be interested to hear what's working in schools.
I posed the question as to how important teachers felt it was that students have access to a keyboard, which of course Chromebooks provide, whereas tablets don't.
Yeah, I mean, I think what you said about the keyboard is really key, because I've noticed that recently we've got iPads one-to-one, and we've been doing things like big writes. And the children, I mean, when they're typing on an iPad, their posture's terrible, they're leaning across the table, they can't edit it because they can't click in the right place. And I think they really struggle to produce really good work when they're writing on the touchscreen. So that was one of the key reasons we decided to go for Chromebooks, because I know that their typing is a lot better when they've got a keyboard. The only things that were holding us back really were the fact that, I mean, the children that don't like the fact that they don't have a front camera. They can't walk around and take pictures with them like they can with iPads. Like with their iPads, they'll take them on school trips and they'll walk around with them glued to their faces, taking pictures. And they can't do that with the Chromebooks. And the fact that they can't draw pictures on them. But what we're thinking is using the Chromebooks day to day for most of their learning, or the creative part. And then we do have some iPads that children can take and use, not one-to-one, but that classes can sort of hire out from the IT department and things like that. So we're thinking that we can get the best of both, but I'm definitely all for Chromebooks at the moment. I mean, we're sort of trialling it at the moment. But I mean, I'm just really interested to see how people use them in lessons, because all the things I've seen for iPads are the sort of things about drawing on them, showing answers and things like that. And I'm just wondering how that translates over to Chromebooks, how they can be used collaboratively.
Okay, I'll go first, because I've just started a project actually with in mathematics, because mathematics is obviously that subject that everybody believes cannot use a Chromebook or Google Apps for education, and I'm breaking that mold being a maths teacher. So my year 7s and 8s are doing a data handling project, so they're going to write some questionnaires. They can use Google Forms to create these questionnaires. And I joined a couple of communities over the weekend. So I joined one in America, one in Australia, New Zealand, and places like that. And I've come back, and I've got about 18 different classes around the world that are more than happy to fill in the same questionnaire that my students create within their classes. So the whole of year 7 are going to create a questionnaire within their classes in small groups. They're going to put the questionnaire together. We're going to then share it around the class that we're in here, but also within maybe 2 classes from different parts of the world. So they've got to condition their questions so that they can get interesting answers, but also we're going to do a bit of like hypothesis testing to see what we think a student in America or a student in Dubai, how they're going to answer it before we get the results back from them. And then that way we can do a bit more collaboration with them, find out a bit more about their school day, what impacts their lifestyles, etc., etc., which you can't do just by visiting a website. So having a tablet that, you know, like an iPad. I love my iPad, don't get me wrong, I'm an Apple geek at home, but I love my little Chromebook, and I've had mine for a month now, and my iPad unfortunately is getting dusty. So yeah, so that's just one thing. So it's about connecting classrooms, but also about doing things that can't normally be done. At the start of the year, Year 7 did a Google Forms multiple choice test in maths as well. So the whole year group went into a computer room, they sat there, they did a multiple choice test. Test questions were difficult enough that they had paper and had to do workings out on. submit the answer, and great thing is it's self-marked and emailed them the results as soon as they finished it. So the Google Apps site's great, and we're now at the point where we haven't got enough IT suites, and actually financially it makes more sense to buy Chromebooks rather than trying to upgrade IT suite. The other benefit is when you can sign out of a Chromebook easily, whereas if you sign into a Google app on an iPad, you find yourself logged in lots of different places and it doesn't log off all at once. If that's my iPad, that's my Chromebook, so the sizing's not particularly different. So I've just seen the little cat. And it's a Asus C100P. Okay, I don't know if you can see that at all. I'll show you what it does. So it just looks like a normal Chromebook. It comes up in seconds, but fortunately this one will then go all the way over and be a touchscreen tablet too. And you can type on the screen like you would do on an iPad and stuff like that. Kids love these. They're lightweight, they're small, they sit on a desk easy, ultra portable, but yeah, they don't have that front-facing camera.
Battery life is obviously an important issue for schools, and I asked the question, how do you find the battery life on your Chromebook?
Well, I use mine all the time. I bought one when we got the trial, and I thought I'm just going to buy one because I love it so much. And I'll get 2 full days usage out of it without charging it up. So if I forget to charge it tonight, it will still be good tomorrow. Then the other thing I was going to say, and I forgot, about the front-facing cameras, we just get the kids to get their phones out. I know in a primary school setting that's kind of different, and not all kids in primary schools have iPhones or smartphones. But within a classroom of 30 kids, I reckon at least 20 will have a device that will record a phone or camera, and they can just share it to their drive. Easy.
A digital camera is always an option as well.
Yeah, I mean the good thing about a phone or something is you can use Google Photos and it automatically sticks it in your drive for you, so it's automatically there the second you've taken it.
But maybe even for part of the rest of the curriculum.
Yep.
To understand, okay, now they're somewhere else, and I need to know how to get a file that's on another device. How do I actually get it to where I need it to be? It's not a bad exercise if you have to.
Something else that we're just trialing as well is, I know somebody else was talking about old latency machines and things, old Windows computers. There's a company called Neverware online, and they do basically a Chrome operating system for Windows machines. So basically you can rebuild your old desktop computer or an old laptop as a Chrome machine, and actually the speed increase that we've seen on the ones we've tried and got it successfully working, it doesn't work on everything. We have got a couple of machines that we're struggling to get it working on, is amazing actually. And obviously they're using tiny little bits of their processing power because everything else is then being done through the cloud. So it does make them super quick, and it turns them into a Chrome machine. And it saves you having to bin the old technology that you've got sitting around the school that's old and slow.
Well, I'm sorry I missed the start of the session. I'm afraid I was sorting my after-school scratch club out. We're about to buy a whole new suite of mobile devices. School's being redeveloped, and we're about to go out to tender for mobile devices, and we're assuming a mixture of tablets and laptops. And Chromebooks at the moment we're sort of agnostic about devices, and we're interested in Chromebooks as an option. We're interested in the versatility, the price points. But one question I've got about is how well do Chromebooks work in a kind of mixed economy? If you've got other devices, if you've got a mixture of Windows domains and Windows devices, LGFL, USOs, for example, maybe thinking about Office 365. For some of our devices, but I kind of get the impression that Chromebook and Google Classrooms is a kind of an all-in commitment. Would that be fair?
Can I just ask for clarification? Is it student-wise or staff-wise? Because I think the students probably are well off having to learn everything, depending on what age range you might be talking about. I don't think that is something that I would be concerned about, but definitely if it's staff, certainly the feeling here in this school is that they've got a foot in both camps. They've got their Windows stuff going on. They actually have no idea where anything is now. When people send something or share something, an email is sent to their Gmail account, but they don't get it because they never open their Gmail if they're not already moved across. So certainly from a staff point of view, running more than one system has certainly been an issue here, and people are desperate for it to be sorted.
I see. Sorry, yeah, to clarify, we're a primary school and we're looking for devices for students.
Okay.
So we're pretty much refreshing all of our mobile devices for students. So do we go for a mixture of Windows and Windows laptops and tablets, either iPads or Windows tablets, or could we have some Chromebooks in that mix, or would that require a complete commitment for all our student devices to be Chromebooks and using Google Classrooms?
You know, the way I feel about it is that for students, they can learn it. We're a primary school as well. We go up to year 8, so our students do go off, you know, sort of partway through that key stage 3.
Yeah.
But they will go off to a secondary school that will run, you know, maybe Macs, maybe Windows. I think it's good for a student to be versatile, but if you have to choose, I would definitely choose the Chromebook route.